CrossFit team quarterfinals have arrived. This video is going to be a little breakdown, an unedited breakdown of all 4 of the workouts that have been given so far. Some thoughts, some timing patterns, some strategies on how best to navigate your workout, suitability of doing the workouts in which order, and then hopefully you can pick up some tidbits from here on how best to achieve these workouts for you, and a little bit of a thought dump from us. So let's begin with the scheme and schedule of the whole thing. So years gone by, there have been less days to complete the workouts. Now you have 6 working days. You will still have to complete and submit 2 workouts within the first 4-day time period, and then you'll have an extended 2 days to get the final 2 workouts in, so workout 3 and 4. There are only 4 workouts. I thought that there might have been 4 workouts. One part would have been a separate score, so a potentially 5th scored workout. It wasn't to be, so there's 4 workouts, and my assumption was maybe that there would have been that 2-part workout because of the added 2 days of time frame in there. However, when you look at the construct of the season, I think for me personally, I was pretty excited to see how CrossFit were going to add another layer from the open till now, and what the complexities would be. And to be fair, I think, from first glance, there may be a little bit of biases towards, I would say, a strength style team and / athletes, and I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to final thoughts after breaking down the workout. So for workout 1, we have a alternating pair every 2 minutes. You have a male-female pair. You're going to complete 5 rounds each, so it'll be 10 rounds total of 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, 10 synchro lateral bar burpees, 10 synchro front squats, and then max ring muscle ups in the remaining time frame. The barbells will be 125 pound, 185 pound female male, or 56 and 83. So what you can expect in this workout is the score is for muscle ups only. There is a prerequisite to get to those muscle ups. I've done a little bit of a timing breakdown. The burpees themselves, I think that at a moderate pace for you and your partner, wouldn't be any slower than 3 seconds per burpee, maybe 3 point something, so you're about 32 seconds, but it could be up as fast as about 23 to 24 seconds. I wouldn't go that top end speed, obviously, if it's going to dig myself into a hole, but here's going to be some tips here. You'll then pick up the barbell each together and perform 10 synchro front squats. Now the difference here this time versus last year is you can squat clean your first rep. The synchro is not in the bottom of the squat, it's only at the top of the squat, so you can wait for your partner there. And you will, if one partner gets to the bottom position early, they can meet the other partner at the top for the next rep to count. I think that at the fastest point, we will see this round complete in 50 seconds. Now bear in mind, that is moving, and you have to account for a synchro style pattern, and then you have to account for the damage done to the body. So let's just regress that for a little bit. Let's say we do 20% slower than that, so we take it up to 1 minute, and this is not the bottom end of the top 25% of teams. This is actually the top end of the top 25% teams. So you've got about a minute's worth of work done. You've done 10 burpees, you've done 10 front squats, and then you split the muscle ups however you wish. I would be inclined to putting my best ring muscle up athlete with my worst ring muscle up athlete, and that just makes straight sense then and there. I wouldn't so necessarily give my worst ring muscle up person the first opportunity at the rings, because if they jump up and miss and the rings are now swinging, we've just wasted ample time and opportunity to actually get reps on the board. So the best ring muscle up athlete is going to begin by doing their set first. Yes, there has to be some consideration that the best ring muscle up athlete can also get through the barbell. Let's not just diminish the fact that that can be quite damaging, especially around 3, 4, 5. However, the partner will jump up, and you're never going to a max failure set unless you're an athlete that's only got 1 or 2 in the bank anyway. And to be honest, we're going to see much of that. Don't be embarrassed about it. The fact of the matter is that there are still teams with some athletes in the top 25% where that muscle up is a hard movement. And I think often we overlook the degree of difficulty of that movement, but I think we can all only just remember back to when we first started getting our first muscle ups and remembering what kind of damage that was doing then. So anyway, you'll give your muscle up effort like 1 rep in reserve. So if I go up and I hit 9 reps and I think, well, I can get 1, maybe 2 more, it's time for me to come down. Your muscle up reps will not be faster than 2.9 seconds as a male to about 3.5 if the dip out starts taking its time, if you start swaying on the rings a little bit, if you have a bit of a longer coil out the back for your back swing, it could get up as long as 4 seconds. Ladies are going to be a little bit longer off the bat. Just generally, they're not popping up out of that dip and they're cycling back into the next rep quite as fast as a male. Case studies have 25% more pulling power from a male versus female. However, I've just been mentioning this to some of my group lately, that generally the outlier is a female top athlete to win, say, ring muscle ups, and then the majority of the next percentage is males, and then the females kind of kick back in. So there's always that top end outlier, and it's generally like low body weight, great pulling power, great environment that they've been brought up in, a whole lot of work, you can never deny that, and that's always cool to see that it's not just like boys, and then the girls can start thereafter. Back to it, the females' rep count will just be slower in general for the ring muscle ups. So at the fastest possible point, you could get 20 ring muscle ups in. Is that likely to happen? No, it's not. You might get 1 round. You might get 1 round of 20 ring muscle ups if you're an elite team, if you've got the capacity to do so. So should you do that just because you could do that? I'm not sure. It's not for me to say. I probably wouldn't. I would still have some reserve gas in the tank. I would hate to see 20 reps first round, 18 reps second round, third round 17 reps, and then 12 and 6 rather than going 15, 15, 15, 15, 15 and just getting a steady state the whole way through. So those kind of themes are just pulled off of like the time frame of how to the rep speeds and cadences of the movements themselves, and then we have to account for transition time to get into the rings. You'd also want your worst ring muscle up connected with your best ring muscle up athlete, because the best one's going to go up on the rings and be there for 30-40 seconds as well, which allows the worst ring muscle up athlete just to accrue some recovery time and then get up there and get their best chance at actually getting a ring muscle up. Now, if you are a team or an athlete that you know that there's one or more of you that don't have a great amount of ring muscle ups in the bank, let's say 2 of your team, one can't do them, and one person is going to get a very few amount. That means that the early rounds are very important, and what that means there is that you can probably just assume that rounds 4 and 5 you might not be getting any ring muscle ups at all, and if you do, amazing, we'll bank them, we'll take what we can. But I would sooner put all of our eggs into the earlier rounds and baskets and actually push towards fatigue, because I'm going to get to the most amount of muscle ups with the least amount of fatigue and not have done an extra 20 burpees and 20 front squats. Yes, you get 2 minutes rest. It's right on that threshold of being able to recover. If the pace and speed goes out at Fran pace, we all know what that Fran lung feels like. And it's unfortunately, I don't think by round 4 and 5 you're actually going to be still there standing, thriving. You'll probably be more in survival mode. So it's just something to think about, just staying 1 rep in reserve and probably working your way through it like an 8.5 RPE threshold out of a 10. And like, you can always kick up a gear. You can always, after round 2, be like, you know what? We could probably go this a little bit faster. I can get to the rings sooner. I could probably do 1 more rep on the rings. Do it then. Don't do it at the start. Now, I think that the workouts themselves, actually no, I'll say that later on. Yeah, get your muscle ups early. If they're going to be a struggle for you in the workout, if you know that you're going to get to failure, get your muscle ups nice and early, but just don't sprint the buy-in. The burpee, synchro chest on the deck and thighs at the same time, and you must jump over the barbell. You don't have to do a 2 feet takeoff, but you must be airborne 2 feet at the same time. If you clip the barbell Or if one athlete gets out of the burpee early, you must do the whole burpee again. You can't just do the jump, so you have to do the whole burpee. And just making sure that you're starting backs to the barbells every single round. So generally, once pair 1 have completed their barbell front squats and move off to the rings, then pair 2 just come and stand at the barbells, and you get ready to do your bar facing burpees and face backs to the barbells. You'll be penalized if you don't. So that's just like, why waste points, why waste time, just by not doing the standard to begin with. So it's nice and simple there, and that's pretty much the first workout. The workout number 2 you've got for time, and I'll just pull this up here, 50, 30 and 20 dumbbell snatches, team of 4, and then pairs synchronized toes to bar. The dumbbell snatches are at 70 pounds males, 50 pounds for the ladies, so 32.5 and 22.5 respectively. The layout will be, now you can do whatever you like, but the suggestion here is 2 and 2, so facing each other, little quadrant 4 square person makeup there. Both heads of the dumbbell must touch the ground. Everyone must be locked out at the overhead position at the same time for the synchro grip to count. And no hand on the body. I think the movement standard for a dumbbell snatch should be pretty straightforward by now. It's a lot of dumbbell snatches, and it's a heavy load. So you now have 100 in the open. If the dumbbell got heavy for you, it was 90 reps. Now you have 100 reps. The weight is heavier. You have to be synchronized. So mistakes are going to be crucial. You're going to try and mitigate as many of those as possible. It's going to be grip, 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 grip. I recommend breaking this up more than you think. I think breaking it up early and often. People are going to think that, you know, big sets are going to be where it's won and who can hold on the longest, but that's absolutely not the case. And I would say pick one. If you were really strong suited to this workout and you like the looks of it and your team is quite competent, I would still say pick one part of the workout to be aggressive and the other part of the workout to put on maintenance. So whether that's the dumbbell aggressive sets, and then, you know, we're going into a more chilled state on the toes to bar, or aggressive toes to bar and a chill state on the dumbbells. The dumbbells, I mean, you could be doing, it's quite a heavy dumbbell. And again, it's going to differ between the elite teams and the bottom end of the top 25%. The top 25%, you know, that lower end threshold, don't be afraid to go something like sets of 6, sets of 8, and just because it's going to help you control the timing, the tempo. It's going to help you control not getting blown up too early. It's going to control the amount of missed reps or no reps. Let's say we're focused on, okay, we're going to start off with a set of 20 or a set of 10, and you get to 15 and someone else doesn't make it. And then already you're like, well, what do we do now? And how long do we rest? How do we navigate the workout from here on in? Now I'm the person that was the one that failed, you know, the rep count, the ideal outcome rep count that we're trying to achieve. And all of a sudden my morale is like, oh my gosh, I just got found out, and I'm going to let the team down for the rest of this workout. How do we avoid that or stave that off as much as possible, at least for as long as possible? Now, the 50, once you've completed the 50 reps, you're halfway into the workout. The next half should be, not say easier, but you get to break the movement pattern up earlier. So the 30s, you get to get off the dumbbell, go to the toes to bar, then obviously come back to finish that same rep count to get yourself to an equal part of 50. You get 100 reps in total. The time cap off the bat, so like everyone's going to be doing 100 and 100. We know that that's going to be nasty. For someone who's just exponential compared to the team, it might not be so bad because you'll get a bit more rest time. And this is how it is. You'll have 2 judges. One judge will judge all of the dumbbell snatches, and then you'll have 2 separate judges for 2 pairs doing the toes to bar. Now it hasn't stipulated male, female pairing for the toes to bar or whatever, so you can do however you like. It also says that the pairs do not have to stay the same pairs for each set, meaning that if myself and a female partner do the 50 on round 1, myself and the male partner can do the 30 on round 2. Myself and the other female, the final female partner, can do the round of 20 on the round 3. Now, what isn't quite stated so clearly, I think it's a bit of a grey area, is that if, say, my partner and I complete 50 toes to bar and this group is on 30, can I then swap in and push that person out? Because it says you can swap pairs once they, so you can swap them set to set, but this doesn't really kind of stipulate if you can swap them out from like rep count to rep count. And just bear with me, like, as I'm still trying to digest that. I may or may not have the answer there, but that's just, I think, it's a great area. It's not really that well communicated in that. But the toes to bar can definitely break down far earlier than you think, and doing sets of 4 and 5 reps from the start might not be such a bad idea, especially if they're going to break down anyway. It just means that you're going to keep them intact for a lot longer, and then once they're gone, like if you're down to singles, now you're expecting you to synchro someone with singles as well. That's a difficult timing to happen. Less is more. It's not always about how long can we stay on the bar, how long can we hold on to the dumbbell. It's how little can we rest, how much can we mitigate the time spent not doing something. And the fact that you are bound to either a pair of 2 or a group of 4, that's mostly going to be the limitation here. So for me, the biggest tips here are break early, break often, and at the end of the day, if you over pace it, do your 20s unbroken. Do 20 and 20 unbroken. And if that happens, then cool. We probably should have went a little bit earlier. If you get to that point and you still can't do 20 and 20 unbroken, then the pacing was never too slow. Okay, cool. Moving on, set 3, workout 3. You have male and female pairs. Pair 1 is going to complete 500 meter row, 50 handstand push-ups, 50 wall balls. Pair 2, females, you will then complete that same sequencing. Once completed, females, and the males are going to come back in, and you're going to do it in reverse order. 50 synchro wall balls, 50 handstand push-ups, 500 meter row each. Now, the total volume per person, 1K row, 100 wall balls, and then potentially, anywhere between 40 to say 60 handstand push-ups. Not a huge ton of volume, at all, and that's spread out over a 25-minute time cap. I think we're going to see teams, that could be as low as maybe sub 17, and that's 8 minutes off of the time cap. But the thing here is that you're going to work for about 4 minutes or more, between 4 and 5 minutes, and you are going to get that same amount of time and rest and recovery. This workout, I think, it's not polite per se, but it allows you to push a threshold pace and then kind of match it, or at least 98% of that effort, again, due to the amount of rest time. Now, you have 1 handstand push-up station. Immediately after the row, so both pairs finish the row, my best handstand push-up out of the pair are going to go forward and hit their set of handstand push-ups. If you're in that elite bracket, just because you can do 50 doesn't mean you should do 50. Do not compromise the shoulders for the wall balls thereafter. It could be something like 30 and 20, and then we go for unbroken wall balls. The wall balls can potentially get broken as well, 30 and 20 there. But I think, again, the elites, you're going to be looking at doing 1 set each for handstand push-ups, and then unbroken wall balls. I think that's pretty straightforward. The timing construct for this, boys, just as a pacing mechanism, you're going to be around 145, 150 on the rower. And then the handstand push-ups 1 set each. It's about a minute's worth of work, just including that time transition. Wall balls 50 unbroken. It's going to be anywhere between 130 to 136. 1 minute 30, 1 minute 36, depending on rep cadence, timing, speed, blah, blah, blah. It's generally height to squat range and the speed of squat. That gives you a total time of around 4 minutes 15 for the males, and we know immediately that the ladies are going to be less than that just due to the row. sorry, I take that back, because if you're in a team where the row is not going to be a hindrance, where it's going to be handstand push-ups and they're broken up 5 times and the wall balls are broken up twice and the ladies don't have to do that, it could definitely well be a different story. So I take that back. Ladies, generally, you will do the same in the same speed. The wall balls will actually be faster if unbroken, because your range of motion is less, the target height is less on the wall rather, and it will only be by a few seconds. But the row, just for mass moves, mass concept here, will be a bit slower. So as a pacing mechanism, you don't have to row amazingly. Like, it doesn't have to be a sub 2 minute per athlete. If you can, and you can maintain the other components in the workout, perfect, cool. Don't compromise 5 seconds on the rower, so going at a 2 minute pace and then breaking up the handstands and wall balls, taking a total of 18 seconds rest, versus going a 2 minute and 5 pace on the rower and then getting the 18 second back for you, so you're 13 seconds in the pocket. You do that over 2 sets, it's 26 seconds. 26 seconds is places on the leaderboard. It's so many places. So just navigating how you break it down and get to that point is going to be very crucial. And then you'll do it in reverse order. And again, it's just basically allowing yourself to understand that reverse order, you will have had a bit of rest, so you can put a good effort into the first one. And then, because it's in reverse order, it should technically be faster. Because the wall balls will be the most fresh, so that's unbroken. That handstand push-up variation is any style you want. So even on dead arms, kipping is still a great outcome. So we could probably still look at the elite teams, 1 set per person, and then the rowing machine is just lights out. So it's, for some of you, it'll be build to pace. So I would like to break down the concept of almost doing like a 200 block, and then a 150. That last 150 is just go all out, and if I pull up short 50 meters shy, it's still going to have enough there to trickle me over the line. I should be dying rolling off the rower, versus getting off the rower and being like, damn, I probably could have gone a little bit earlier. So in this one, don't be afraid to go a tad bit early. I think it's around that 150, maybe 200 meter mark. And rather than counting meters at that point, I would be more inclined to counting time. So I'm like, damn, it's 200 meters to go, versus, whoa, I'm only 33 seconds away. Because 33 seconds, I can buy into that, versus 200, and I'm watching the meters tick a bit slower. 33 seconds of life, this doesn't seem a heck of a long time. The wall ball is no longer synchro on the bottom of the wall ball. You can squat clean your first one, that's fine. It's the synchro at the target. So just make sure that both balls are arriving at the target at the same time. There's still going to be a handstand push-up marker, so tape marker for the hands. So make sure that that's set up nice and well. And then just make sure that you are really diving into the movement standards for the handstand push-ups specifically. If you feet outside of your hands at the top of the rep, no rep. In the past, I think that finally they've got a better picture of description for what they want to see at the top of the handstand position. And they're saying shoulders and hips in line, no straight line, bum, feet on the wall or near the wall, and then that curvature with the back coming down and almost like a, I don't know what shape that is. It's like a long L with a tail. So that's a no-no now. And that's for athletes who I've seen in the past who have had phenomenal inversion. That has been something that's pulled them up at the games. And it's just by having, very good mobility, hyperextensor through the back or through the thoracic, and just not being aware of not pulling their hips out off the wall into line with their shoulders as well. So just making sure that that's part of your movement standard, at least a finger or thumb touching the tape, or if not the hand. And then finally the row, you cannot get out of if I finish my row before my partner, I cannot get out of the row until my partner is finished as well. Okay, so that would go for the same for the final row. Do not leave the rowing machine until both partners are finished, otherwise you will be penalized. And I think that that's just like such an easy nuance to be in control of. And some people may forget when you do your final row, because you'll only be thinking about just blitzing through that final row, that you will get off the row as soon as you're done. But if your mate's not done, you're going to get penalized for that. So you kind of have to suffer for a few seconds just in the seat and then make your way out of it. That is workout number 3 in a nutshell. Final workout number 4, barbell. You have a 15-minute AMRAP. female partner, male partner, 30 deadlifts for the females combined, 30 deadlifts for the males combined, and then 30 shoulders overheads for the ladies on a different barbell, and then 30 shoulders overheads for the males on a different barbell. And you'll just cycle through that as much as you can for 15 minutes. Now, when I done a timing breakdown of where I think things will land, and then you compare that with the scorecard, and the scorecard kind of lets off a couple of secrets. The scorecard suggests only 5 rounds could be completed. We've only seen a couple of times in the history of CrossFit where someone beat the scorecard. Now, from memory, one of the open workouts, it was a 20-minute AMRAP, 24 double unders, 4 dumbbell thrusters, 8 toes to bar, I want to say, or 6 toes to bar. And one athlete got more than the 30 rounds that was required on the scorecard. It might have been like Fikowski or somebody. But the fact of the matter, it doesn't happen often. So the expectation here is that there aren't going to be 5 rounds completed, which means that if you have 15 minutes and you break down 3 minutes per round, that's going to give you 5 completed rounds. So you are going to be more than 3 minutes per round. Yes, you may get your first round under a minute, but just 3 minutes, but just expect that to not quite be there for the entirety of the workout. Now, the barbell is heavy, so you've got a 93 kilo barbell for the ladies on the deadlifts and a 143 for the males, 56 for the overheads ladies, and then 83 for the males. You start 5 feet away from the bar, you'll run in, do the deadlifts, break them up however you'd like to. Remember, female partners go first, they'll come over the 5-foot tape line, then the males will go. I would be inclined to doing this a multitude of ways. Obviously, if I have one clear stronger athlete than the other as a pairing within my same-sex peers, then one athlete is going to be looking at doing 60 to 70% of the workload through this whole workout, and that's just the fact of the matter. But how you get to that point matters. It might not just be, I'll always do, let's say, for lack of a better number, let's take 3 sets, and I think that if you're in this situation, you're going to be doing more than 3 sets, but let's take 3 sets. Rather than doing, I'll just do 20 and you do 10, I might hit 12 reps, you go 10 reps, and then I finish with 8 reps. So I might do 12, you might do 13 reps, and then I do 5. So I've got a total of 17 versus your 13. And then I'm the one that's starting, and I'm the one that's finishing, allowing you to break either side twice, even though you have to do one bigger set. So long as the rep speed doesn't slow, then you should be fine. With the deadlifts, it's a better idea to break those more often than the shoulder to overheads, because just the nature of the barbell and just that timing of getting in and out isn't going to be as hard and as difficult for loss of transition time versus the shoulder to overhead, having to do the power clean, etc., to get it to the shoulders. So that's something to think about. The other way that if both athletes are pretty competent in this, and speed becomes the name of the game rather than like we need to protect one of us, then what I would likely do in this is, rather than split reps down the middle, let's take the deadlifts for example. I'll do 6, my mate does 4, I'll do 6, my mate does 4, I'll do 6, my mate does 4. But on the next round, they'll do 6, I'll do 4. They'll do 6, I'll do 4. So we're just going to break it down that way a little bit. And the shoulders over here, just mitigating how much that bar is going to be on the ground. The completion time per movement is going to take about oh no, my timing is different here. About 1:10 for the totality of all 60 deadlifts, as fast as they could be. So you're going to drop that down to about 45 seconds per, so about 1:30. And just imagine that you're doing 45 seconds on, 45 seconds off, because your female partners will be going for 45 seconds or more. Male partners will be going for 45 seconds or more. So each pairing is going to be about 45 seconds or more. That's the elite bracket, right? So you'll have at least 45 seconds of rest as a pair goes. You'll swap out, you'll get to come in. But remember that you'll also get only half, you'll get half of that work time as rest due to your partner going. Yes, the damage from this workout will mean that you get to CNS depletion, just structural fatigue from the loading, over the due course of the workout, so the round should slow down as they go. But you're just looking at the effort when you're working, work hard. When you're resting, try your best to recover, but when you're asked to go in and bat, you have to work hard, and that's just the nature of this workout. So let's split this. You've got a 15-minute workout. Ladies are going to do half the time, males are going to do half the time, and then within that you might only do half the working section of that half the time. So you've got 7.5 minutes ladies, 7.5 minutes fellas, and this is just if everyone's got the same ability. It might be something like 9 and 6 minutes, but let's say 7.5 and 7.5, and you break that down, so then you both split that in half. You're only working for about 3 minutes and 45 seconds each over a 15-minute window. Okay, so again, when you're working, work hard, and just make sure that you get all your reps that you're after. And I would be inclined to cycling. I'll do more reps round 1, you do more reps round 2, 3, 4, swap in and out. And then probably by that 3rd or 4th round, just start playing eyes up, heads up, as in like, how do you feel? What have you got? Do we need to change anything? Because at that point, something's going to feel different in the workout than your original plan. Be prepared for something to change, and be prepared to work. Like if you have in your mind, okay, cool, this next round I'm only going to go in and do 5, but your mate says, no, I need you to do 8. Oh, so be it. I'll do 8. Or just have the peace of mind, have the forethought of like, oh, I sense that I have a bit more juice in me. I know my partner's lagging here. Hey, I'm going to do 10. But have that communication. You've got time to communicate. Don't just do it and then be like, yeah, bro, I did you a solid. You got 10 reps. I just did you 20 reps here. Like, communicate that. Like, let's always be on the same page. And that's workout 4. So just in summary, I just want to put a few thoughts together about the workouts themselves. I do think that there's a potential here that the bias that probably for strength-based athletes, yes, you've got max muscle ups that is counting as your score, but you have a buy-in to get there, and the buy-in only allows you X amount of time, and the window for recovery is pretty tolerable for a bigger athlete to kind of get that output again, or at least not fall so far. So that's one thing that I sense. 100 toes to bar, you think gymnastics workout, but 100 heavy dumbbell snatches combined with that. I know some of the athletes will be licking their lips, some of the big boys even, especially a toes to bar where they don't have to get their frame over top of the bar. That's always beneficial. And then, so you've got on to workout 3, and there's realistically only handstand push-ups as a gymnastics component there. And it's not hard. It's any style, strict, kipping, and generally that means that you can still do 1 set each. You'll row and warble, which is big person dominant and heavy favored. So with like minuscule amount of handstand push-ups, I think that we're not going to see that type of athlete or archetype be the case of reasoning for winning this workout. And then finally, deadlift and shoulder to overhead. And we know that those barbells are moderate to heavy loads. Yeah, I think that this favors the big guy. The big guy, the big girl. Time will tell. Obviously, it's a team of 4, and there are synchro and there are certain roadblocks to get there. I thought there might have been more than 4 workouts and maybe a little bit more variation. So we've got 2 couplets and 2 triplets, meaning that we've only got 10 total movements. So across the first 7 workouts of the season, so the open 3 workouts and the 4 quarterfinals, we have 18 total exercises. So in CrossFit, we train 1,000 different movements and another 10,000 different formatting and deliveries, but you've been given 18 exercises and over a 7 workout period, and kind of like they're all themed around the same time frame finish. I can imagine that row, handstand, push-up, warble being within 2 or 3 minutes of the 15-minute AMRAP. So about the same time domain and about the same work ethic when you do work time frame as well when considering the rest work ratio. And then finally, same again with the dumbbell snatches and the toes to bar. Haven't really got a good read on the outlier time finish of how fast a team of 4 will get through that toe to bar workout with a 20-minute cap. If you think 10 and 10 split as an EMOM, that could be there for 10 minutes, but I don't think that will be the case. Maybe it's something like 12, 12:30, and then the ring muscle ups, you're going to do 5 times 2 minutes blocks of work anyway. So I think that the work total time, you're going to be working between 10 minutes and somewhere between 18 to, if you really blow up on the rowing workout, it might go to something like 22 to 25 minutes. But you know, they're all pretty similar. So do we have enough variance here? I don't know. What do I think and like of the workouts? To be honest, I don't care. Never really have or do. All I try and do is just try and understand the workouts that we get given and just try and work as best as we can to get those achieved. At the end of the day, crying, complaining, or anything like that is not going to fix or change any of the workouts. It's only ever a few people's ideas of what should be in that, those tests. But as a programmer, it is far harder to choose the workouts to do than it is to what do I not put in and how do I not implement something. And so that's just the concept just to keep in mind. At the end of the day, the cream's always going to rise to the top. I think that these are going to be awesome tests individually, seeing those for your teams and seeing those for your members of your gym to go through. I think that they are cool tests. I think that the nature of those workouts is I wouldn't want to do 2 workouts on the same day if I can avoid it, especially the first 2, because the nature of the grip fatigue needed to get over the rings and the toaster bar and holding on to the dumbbells. I'm going to want at least a day in between those, and I would probably start with workout 1 first, because I don't want my midline to be so taxing from my toaster bar that it's going to damage my ring muscle ups the next day, and that could and should happen. The other 2 workouts might not be so bad. They could be done in the same session, absolutely, I think, and I'll probably be inclined to start with the barbell one first. I don't think there's going to be much change and difference between doing that first and then doing the row handstand push-up one after, versus I wouldn't like to do the deadlift one after smoking my shoulders on the speed and capacity in which I intend to go with and the handstand push-up and the wall ball workout. Like, for instance, I could give somebody a 150 rep GHD workout by doing 15 sets of 10 with the 300 meter run in between, and they might get through that workout unscathed, versus doing 60 GHDs for time and then 30 toaster bar for time. And in the same piece, you've done 90 contractions only versus 150, but it's about the tensile strength of the contraction, hip flexor psoas, intra-abdominis wall pressure, like just how fast is that needing to contract and activate. So it might not be, it'll leave you sore for days. So that's the same thing that you should probably find in the toaster bar, and I would want to do that after the ring muscle ups. I would want to do these probably in order 1, 2, 4, 3. 3 seems the most polite. I think 3 seems the most achievable. So I wouldn't necessarily put all my eggs into that basket, and it will just give me room to do other workouts again if I needed to. If this is the point in your season, if you're a quarterfinals, like hoping to make semifinals athlete, all your eggs go into this basket. No other workouts mean anything for this next 6-day period. This is all you need to think about. This is all you need to focus on. Your team needs to buy into that and how you're best going to navigate those as a group. And every workout has so much potential for making mistakes early, and then mistakes that are going to be non-recoverable. And once one person goes down in your team, that's one big theme in these workouts, because they're all work together sections. If one person breaks down, the team's score breaks down. So us as a team, we can only work as fast as the slowest person needs. And I am not going to push that slowest person to get outside of a bracket that I know that is unsustainable for them, just because this is the number that is needed on the leaderboard. Well, cool. Facts are facts. Black and white is black and white. But if we can't get there, don't start there. Just race your own race, turn the blinders on, and then always in these workouts, because the time frame, there's no workout here less than 10 minutes. You have time in the workout to go faster if you have energy. But if you gave it if you went too fast at the start, that is just not going to be a case and tool that you have in the belt to use. So just make sure you're patient, making no mistakes, and by making no mistakes, you're going to break everything early and often. And that's all I have. That is the... Can you cut this off? But I've been trying to cough for long. That's all I have. That's the conclusion of my thoughts for the team quarterfinals for 2024. Hopefully it takes away for you some improvement points or some tips and tricks that are going to help you get your best score. And I can't wait to see you guys on the leaderboard.